They laughed when I got rejected from my dream job, but none of them knew I secretly owned the entire company. 3 seconds. That's how long it took for my dad to say, "You're a failure, Aria." My uncle clapped, saying, "Told you. That media nonsense wouldn't last." My mom just sighed in disappointment. I sat there, humiliated, silent, as my entire family celebrated the death of my career like it was a joke. If this moment made your blood boil, like, share, and subscribe. Because what's coming next will leave you speechless. They had no idea I'd been working behind the scenes for years. While they were busy calling me lazy, jobless, and useless, I was quietly building an empire. The same media company that rejected me, I helped fund it. My name was hidden behind shell companies and silent partners. I wanted to earn the role, not be handed it, but they never gave me the chance. Because my own cousin Jordan backstabbed me. He applied for the same position, lied in the interview, and told them I had mental breakdowns and anger issues. And it worked. He got the job. I was ghosted. No call, no email, just a silent rejection and a smirking text from Jordan. "Told you I'd win." That night, my family threw a career intervention dinner. They sat me down like some broken toy. "You should start applying at grocery stores," Aunt Lisa said, pretending to be helpful. "Or maybe a call center," Jordan added, sipping from a $10 wine glass like he owned the world. I smiled. Not because I agreed, but because they had no idea what I was about to do next. I wasn't just going to get revenge. I was going to shatter every smug expression in that room. One move at the board meeting next week, and their fake reality would fall apart, because while they thought they crushed me, I held the power to crush them back. At exactly 9:02 a.m. on Monday, I walked into the boardroom, not as the rejected applicant they thought I was, but as Aria Walker, majority shareholder of the very company that turned me away. The air inside was thick with pretense. Jordan sat confidently at the head of the table, adjusting his overpriced suit like he belonged there. He didn't even look at me when I walked in. Neither did the hiring manager who ghosted me. In their eyes, I was nobody. Just a bitter, jobless girl desperate for attention. But what none of them knew was that every person on that board answered to me. As I took my seat, the whispers started. "Why is she here? Was she invited?" One of the executives leaned toward Jordan, confused. "Do you know her?" He chuckled. "Yeah, unfortunately. She's my cousin. She's been trying to get into media for years. Total disaster." I stayed silent. For now. Let the arrogance build. Let the room drown in overconfidence. The meeting began. Jordan stood up to present his big idea, one he stole directly from my original pitch. Word for word. Slide by slide. The same idea he mocked me for during Thanksgiving dinner, calling it unrealistic and naive. Now, he presented it like it was his life's work, smirking between sentences like a man who thought he'd already won. When he finished, the room applauded lightly. The CEO nodded, but didn't look impressed. "Interesting," he said flatly, "but we'd like to hear from our newly appointed silent partner first." That's when every eye turned to me. I stood up slowly, letting the silence stretch like a wire about to snap. Jordan's face twitched. The blood drained from his cheeks. "Wait, what is this?" he muttered. I placed a folder on the table. Inside were contracts, investment records, and board member signatures, proof that I had quietly bought out the second largest stakeholder 6 months ago. With that deal, I became the controlling owner of the company he thought he ran. "I'm not here to apply anymore," I said, looking directly at Jordan. "I'm here to decide who stays and who leaves." His jaw dropped. The room went dead silent. The fake applause, the smug smiles, the whispered insults, all gone in one breath. And I wasn't done yet. Jordan stumbled back into his chair, like someone had pulled the floor from underneath him. "This is a joke, right?" he asked, his voice cracking. "She's lying, there's no way." I didn't answer him. I looked straight at the CEO instead, Mr. Davis, a man who'd shaken my hand in secret 3 months ago when I wired the final investment. He nodded at me with the kind of calm that confirmed everything. "She's not lying," he said, folding his hands. "Aria owns 52% of this company now. And as of this morning, she's not silent anymore." I took a breath. My hands weren't shaking. My heart wasn't racing. I was ready. "Let's talk about integrity," I said, slowly walking to the front of the room. Because someone in this room just pitched a business model he stole. Word for word, from me. Someone who spent years being mocked, ignored, and publicly humiliated by her own family for even daring to dream. Jordan shot up from his chair, face flushed. "You never even worked in this field. You're just some spoiled—" "Sit down," I cut him off without raising my voice. "You lied on your resume, faked your metrics, and used my personal trauma as a weapon during your interview. I have it all. The emails, the recordings, even your text messages laughing about how easy it was to manipulate the board, the room." Gasped. One of the board members covered her mouth. Another whispered, "This is insane." But I wasn't done yet. I turned to the screen behind me and clicked the remote. Slides appeared. Actual results from the pilot program I quietly launched through a smaller division of the company last year. Numbers they didn't even know were mine. Engagements, revenue, reach, all of it crushing what Jordan had just pitched. While you were stealing my ideas, I was testing them. In the real market. With real users. And unlike you, I didn't need to cheat to win. Jordan looked like he couldn't breathe. His mouth opened, then closed. His eyes darted around the room, searching for anyone to defend him. But no one moved. No one even looked at him. And then I dropped the final blow. "Effective immediately," I said, pulling out a letter. "Jordan is terminated for fraud, breach of ethics, and violation of our internal policy." He lunged forward. "You can't do this to me." But I was already turning to leave. Jordan chased after me into the hallway, his voice rising with desperation now. "Aria, please. We're family. You can't ruin my entire life over this." I turned around slowly. For a second, I saw the same boy who used to steal my Halloween candy and blame it on the dog. The same cousin who told everyone I'd never make it in life. The same person who smiled when I cried after losing that first internship years ago. "You didn't think of family when you sabotaged me," I said coldly. "You didn't think of family when you laughed with the rest of them while they tore me down. You destroyed my shot at that job. And worse, you made me believe I didn't deserve one." He looked like he wanted to argue, but I didn't give him the chance. I walked away. Downstairs, I stepped into my black SUV, the same one Jordan once mocked for being too basic. My driver, Marcus, handed me my phone. Missed calls, voicemails, all from my parents, Aunt Lisa, even Uncle Ron. Now they wanted to talk. Now they were worried. I put the phone down. Let them sit in, silence like I had for years. Let them wonder how the girl they called a failure just fired the golden boy of the family in front of a Fortune 500 boardroom. I arrived home to my high-rise apartment, 37 floors above the same city that once made me feel so small. I stood by the glass wall, looking at the skyline, and that's when the message popped up. "You won't get away with this. Jordan." I stared at it for a moment, smiled. Because what Jordan didn't know was that his little revenge threat had just triggered a chain reaction. I had one more surprise left, one that wouldn't just end his career. It would expose everything my family had done to me. This story wasn't over, not even close. 3. Days later, the entire family was summoned to a formal family reconciliation dinner at my parents' mansion. I knew it wasn't about reconciliation, it was about control. A desperate attempt to corner me before the truth came out. Aunt Lisa arranged it. Uncle Ron backed it. And my father, the man who once told me I was a waste of potential, acted like this was some noble intervention. I showed up 15 minutes late, wearing the same dress they once called too cheap for a family photo. Every eye in the room turned to me when I walked in. Even Jordan was there, hiding in the corner like a scolded child, his eyes swollen from lack of sleep. He hadn't posted on social media since I fired him. A world record for someone who used to upload his breakfast like it was breaking news. "Aria," Aunt Lisa began with a plastic smile, "we're just worried about you. All these aggressive decisions you're making. Family isn't a business deal, sweetheart." "Funny," I replied, sitting down slowly, "because you all treated me like a failed investment for the last 10 years. My mom winced. My father cleared his throat. "We were trying to help you grow up," he said, still wearing that CEO tone he used on his employees. "You were chasing fantasies, and now, this company thing has gone too far. You embarrassed your cousin." I leaned in slightly. "He lied. He sabotaged me. He used my trauma to get ahead, and you all clapped for him." Uncle Ron finally snapped. "You think owning one company makes you powerful. You're still just a little girl playing dress-up in the big leagues." I didn't respond. Instead, I reached into my bag and pulled out a set of documents. "You're right," I said calmly, sliding the papers across the table. "Owning one company doesn't make me powerful. But owning the media group that bought out your retirement fund? That's a different story." Uncle Ron grabbed the papers and scanned them. His face turned white. This can't be real." "Oh, it's real," I said. "Your cushy pension, your summer home, your vintage car collection, all of it tied directly to a fund managed by my new acquisition. One click from me, and it all freezes." My father stood up in rage. "You wouldn't dare." I stood too, taller than I ever had in this house. "I already did. This dinner? It's not about reconciliation. It's your final warning. From now on, if you speak my name, it better be with respect. Or the entire structure you built by belittling me comes crashing down." The room went silent. For once, no one had anything to say. Not even Jordan. I turned and walked toward the door, pausing only once to say one final thing. "I didn't come here to destroy the family. You did that yourselves. I just came to take back what was mine." And with that, I walked out. Into the night, into power, into peace. Because when the people who crushed you have to watch you rise above them, that's not revenge, that's justice.